I'm innocent.
In the ancient village of Amako, tradition was not just law, it was life. From the moment a girl was born, her hair was never cut. Not once. Not for sickness. Not for beauty. Not for ritual. A woman's hair was her honor, her pride, her innocence woven into dark strands. Their woman's hair was shaved. She was guilty of a crime, and once shaved, it never grew back. It was believed that the gods themselves sealed her shame. But no one had ever seen what was about to happen to Adora. Adora was the kind of girl the sun seemed to follow. She was gentle, hardworking, and strikingly beautiful. Her long, thick hair flowed down her back like a dark river. The villagers loved her. The elders praised her humility. Even the children clung to her wrapper when she passed. Inside the walls of her father's house, she had an enemy, her stepmother. The woman had watched for years as Adora grew into everything she could never be admired, respected, adored. Jealousy began to rot her heart like a worm in fruit. If she falls, the stepmother whispered one night in the darkness, then I will finally breathe. And so she made a plan. One morning, chaos erupted in Amako. The king's royal coral beads, sacred beads passed down through generations, had gone missing. The palace guards searched every compound, every hut, every corner of the village. When they reached Adora's house, her stepmother wept loudly and dramatically. Search her room, she cried. My spirit has not been at peace. Adora stood frozen as the guards lifted her sleeping mat, and there it was. The king's coral beads, hidden beneath her bed. The air left her lungs. No, I have never seen that before. She cried, but her stepmother shrieked, You ungrateful child. After all this family has done for you, within moments, Adora was dragged into the village square. The square was filled. The queen sat beside the king. The elders stood in silence. Adora fell to her knees. My king, my queen, I am innocent. I swear before the gods of Amako, I did not steal. Tears streamed down her face. Her voice trembled. The stepmother stepped forward dramatically. She has always envied the palace. She is not who you think she is. Murmurs spread through the crowd. The king's face hardened. In Amako, he declared, The punishment for theft is the shaving of hair. Let the law stand. Adora screamed, No, please, I am innocent. But the older village women came forward. They held her arms. They pinned her down despite her desperate struggle. And before the entire village, they shaved her hair. Her cries pierced the sky. Strands of her pride fell to the earth. And when it was done, her head was bare. In Amako, that was the end of a woman's dignity. And everyone knew her hair would never grow again. For 2 days, Adora did not leave her hut. The villagers avoided her eyes. But on the 3rd morning, something strange happened. A child fetching water stopped and screamed. Look, tiny curls were sprouting from Adora's scalp. By evening, her hair had grown thicker. By the next morning, it was undeniable. It was growing. And not slowly. Rapidly. The entire village gathered in shock. This is impossible. In Amako, shaved hair never grows back. Fear spread like wildfire. The king himself came to see. By the 5th day, Adora's hair had grown longer than it had ever been before, fuller, darker, almost glowing under the sun. The king's voice trembled. This matter is no longer ordinary. We must consult the chief priest. That night, the king journeyed to the shrine. The chief priest cast sacred stones. He burned incense. He called upon the ancestors. Then his eyes widened. "My king," he said slowly, "the girl is innocent." The king's heart pounded. The gods have rejected the punishment. That is why her hair grows. It is a sign. She was framed. The priest closed his eyes again. And then he spoke the name. Her stepmother. By dawn, the guards had seized the woman. She fell at the king's feet, trembling. "I was jealous," she confessed. "Everyone loved her. I only wanted her respect to end." Gasps filled the square. The king's voice thundered. "You stole the royal beads. You lied. You caused injustice." The law was clear. Her hair was shaved before the entire village. But unlike Adora's, it did not grow. Unbonset, she was from forever. Adora stood in the same square where she had once been humiliated. But now the people knelt before her. Her hair flowed past her waist, longer and more magnificent than before. The queen rose and embraced her. "You are favored by the gods," she whispered. From that day forward, Adora became a symbol of justice in Amako, a reminder that truth cannot be buried. And among those who had silently admired her all along was the prince. He had watched her strength, her dignity, her grace under suffering. And in time, he asked for her hand in marriage. The wedding lasted 7 days. Adora, once shamed, now wore a crown. Her hair crowned her like royalty. And in the village of Amako, her story became legend. The story of the girl whose innocence was so powerful. Even the gods refused to let her hair remain cut. And she and the prince lived in peace, under the watchful eyes of ancestors who had chosen justice.